It's a bull. Good morning. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. A little windy out there, and what's our current weather looking like? Probably close to that 80-degree mark, 83 degrees, and it's not even 10 a.m. yet. We're in our summertime for sure. We had a great winter, though. I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but all the way up to May, we had a wonderful winter. I hope we missed hurricane season this year. Well, hey, full disclosure right here. I switched out my bull and bear coin. I tried a different one. I looked at my old one here, which I may go back to using. It has like dented up edges, a lot of character to it. But this new one, do you hear how smooth it was? Shh. It's smooth going down too. So I wasn't sure if I dropped my other old bull and bear coin on the hard floor so many times. It's got like flat edges on the rim. So maybe that's affecting the roll. Let me know what you think. Anyways, I don't think it's a big deal. We do this for fun. But today shows a bull on the new coin. That's a good sign, I believe. If you believe in luck, believe in a little bit of luck. Well, beautiful, like I said, beautiful day out there. And let's move along to spot prices real quick before I get into the other subject I want to talk about today. And down a little bit from where it was, but certainly nowhere near as a low. But it's not Friday yet, so they could still hammer it down Friday a little bit lower. But this is great. This provides us good buying opportunities. You know, for the get-rich crowd, for people that bought gold recently or silver and gold or platinum recently and thought they were going to get rich. I'm sure there's big disappointments in that particular set of folks. But you know, as I said, this has always been about wealth preservation. This is not about getting rich quick. And again, I'm probably sounding like a broken record between saying this and saying again all the time. So I'll try to refrain from again. As I said, if they're in this to get rich quick, they're going to be sorely disappointed. Buying gold and silver and precious metals is really about wealth preservation. Can you make a lot of money? Certainly you can. However, you have to look at it from the big picture about being wealth preservation. Should you buy nothing but gold and silver and platinum? Should all your money go? No, absolutely not. I believe in diversification. However, I'm not qualified to talk about what you should diversify into other things. I talk about what I might do. In fact, a little interesting thing here. Again, I'll get to spot prices here real quick. Interesting high we have there as well. But interesting thing is I'm actually considering maybe buying some cryptos once I think there's blood in the street in the crypto market. And I don't quite see the blood in the street there yet. Haven't seen total capitulation in those markets, but I guess Bitcoin kind of dropped a bit below 30, and Ethereum, which I like more. Again, don't know much about it. I might even buy a little bit. Again, diversification, folks. I might try it once it hits the real low. What's the worst thing? What's worse that can happen? I'll lose a few bucks. Can't hurt to be diversified. Well, let's take a look at the spot prices here. And oh gosh, I digress one more time. I'm also thinking about doing that with stocks and bonds and equities markets and also the real estate market. I have pretty much assigned myself to say that during the next big crash, when everybody thinks that, when there's blood in the street, I'm going to buy real estate and stocks too. So that might be surprising coming from a precious metal guys, but I am fully believe in learning for yourself. I'm kind of a contrarian, if you notice, and I believe in buying when it's dead low. Again, buying when there's blood in the streets. Let me talk about spot prices without getting interrupting myself again here. Currently, look at that high right there, 1790. So she tried to break that $1,800 mark sometime in the evening since yesterday. These are the overnight markets. A low of 1773.80 and a high of 1790.66. So our new low here today is still higher than the low we saw last week. And the high is pretty interesting. Again, we almost hit that $1,800 mark again. But I like this level. I really do. It provides the opportunity to do what? Buy the friggin' dips. And as you know, I'm a big proponent of, especially in a bull market, of buying the friggin' dips. The equities guy said it for the longest time. I don't know if I buy the dips now. It doesn't look too promising, but in those markets. But in the bullion market right now, we're looking pretty. We're sitting pretty. As I said, if you're a get-rich-quick guy, you're probably not too happy. But if you're listening to my show, I'm going to make you a happy person just by changing your mindset on how you view this stuff. You don't want to view gold, as I said yesterday, on a day-to-day basis. You'll go nuts. You'll go crazy. Even a week-to-week basis, and I would even say a month-to-month basis. I like putting gold and silver away. You got to keep an eye on it. Don't get me wrong. You want to sell in the highs. Gold will hit a bubble. Silver will hit a bubble. It's all markets bubble at some point when there gets a lot of exuberance in it. You know, when all of a sudden your neighbor and everyone starts telling you, guys at work, hey, buy gold, man, I'm making a lot of money on gold and silver. You probably know that you're near that bubble. Does it sound familiar to some of you crypto guys? It should. You guys hit that bubble for sure as well. And you got to recognize bubbles, because that's the time to sell some of your position, half your position, your whole position. I like the idea of selling partial pieces of your position. You're going to do that one day with gold and silver. If you live long enough, you will want to sell in the highs and buy back when it gets down low again. You should also look at other markets like that as well. It took me a long time to learn that lesson, folks. However, that's how you build wealth. Look at the silver price, $25.72, and broke that $26 mark. Of course, we knew it would, but a little monkey hammered here still. I like silver's a great buying opportunity at this level. Platinum too. My gosh, still below 1,100. I mean, you know, we were in that 1,1300 range for a little while. With platinum, and platinum was independently acting on its own. But again, great opportunities for buying right now if you have not bought in. If you have bought in, you're a newbie and you're new into buying precious metals, you know, physical metals. I would recommend that that this is not a bad time to add more to your position. If you bought at a higher level, you'll cost average down your other, you know, the other stuff you bought. And most all of you are familiar with cost averaging. If not, just Google the term and you'll see what I'm talking about. So again, if you bought at a higher level, this price provides an opportunity to cost average your lot price down. Good opportunities again. Wouldn't be upset when I see these prices. In fact, I'm sure that a lot of people that were wanting to jump into the gold and silver market, especially new people and people that had money that they wanted to spend more, are really happy about this $100 drop. Don't get disappointed. Trust me on this. I know what I'm talking about. You got to look at the big picture, and the big picture looks really good for us. So, the topic of today's, one of the things I wanted to talk about is trust. Who to trust and who not to trust. You know, the big monkey hammering we saw last week absolutely has everything to do with governments. The monkey hammering in gold, the monkey hammering in other markets that got hammered. Some markets were not purposely hammered. The Fed has a tendency to open their mouths and not understand the implications of that. And again, we're living in a world where the markets are directed by what somebody says, an entity says, or a person says. I mean, look at Elon Musk with the cryptos. Wait till Elon opens his mouth and the market's going to move one way or another. Same thing with the Fed now. Wait till Powell, or who was it before, Yellen, for open their mouths, and you would see the market react wildly one way or another. Those are not fundamentals, folks. We are not living in the age of fundamentals. We're not living in the ages of where somebody made a product and and everybody loved that product, and you go to, you swarm to buy, and the price of the stock goes up because the company's so popular and they can't produce enough. That's fundamentals. When markets move up just because, well, gold markets and silver markets are a little different than equity markets. But when a company and a corporation, when their stocks move up, simply because somebody said something, that's not solid fundamentals, folks. Companies and corporations move up because they sell more product or services, not because someone said something. So we've been living in a bullshit market for a long time. Gold and silver is a good place to be. However, the problem with that is that governments and media and corporations, government and media support major corporations more than they support you, the little guy, the little business, the small person. They're in it for the big corporations. I mean, look who has been benefiting from primarily benefiting from the stimulus since 2008. QE is the big banks, the elite. That's who gets, and it's a trickle-down type policy, but it's really not a trickle-down policy. When I was a younger man, I used to kind of believe down in that trickle. I mean, I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I believe that wealth does trickle down. However, in the situation that we're in right now, with governments cozying up with corporations and media, and it's kind of all one operation. They're all looking out for each other. And that's their primary goal, is to look out for each other more than us as the individual. The collective is more important than the individual now, which is really ass backwards from how I understood how freedom really works, whether it's freedom of yourself or freedom in your ability to make money and not have someone steal it from you through taxes or debasing the money that you use. And again, here's a great saying. Did I even mention the last one? Don't steal, the government hates competition. So that's absolutely true, and bankers hate competition as well. Give a man a gun and he can rob a bank. Give a man a bank and he can rob the world. And this is absolutely true. This is what's happened since 1913 when we were sold the fiat dollar, the Federal Reserve. When the private bankers came in to run the show, we all got screwed as a country. It's been a long time since then, but it takes them a long time. It took them a long time to squeeze as much wealth out of the individuals as they could. So the collective runs the show now. That's the banks, governments, corporations, and media, corporate media. They run the show, folks. Don't you ever forget it. And yeah, that saying's absolutely true. And Jim Morrison, remember that song, "This Is the End"? My only friend, the end. Jim Morrison. And I did kind of fact check this, folks. I mean, look, it was hard to find whether Jim Morrison really said this. A few said he did, and nobody really said he didn't. So I'm going to attribute this to Jim Morrison, unless some really smart commenter tells me otherwise. But I like the saying, it fits. Whoever controls the media controls the mind. So you've got the banks, central bankers, which are not government entities. These are private bankers that stole our money from us in 1913. They've been running the show as the private bankers, and bankers hate competition. And the governments work for bankers now. Used to be the other way around. And the media. Whoever controls the media and banks run the world. And that's that collective right there, the media, corporate banks, and government, the United States government and other governments, they run the world, folks. And again, they're interested in their collective, keeping their collective going, keeping their collective profitable. They're really not interested in the individual, and the individual is you and I. Breaking news, something irrelevant just happened, and now we're going to blow it out of proportion for days to keep you distracted from what's really going on. And as I said, what is really going on, why you're distracted about COVID, why you're distracted about the Russians doing this or the Chinese doing that. Governments, banks, and the media have their hand in your wallet, and they got their hand up your ass like a puppet as well. So most of us, not all of us, not all of us are puppets. Not all of us are folding into the collective. And a lot of us are independent thinkers like myself, and I'm sure if you're listening to the show, you're probably an independent thinker too. What does all this have to do with gold, silver, and precious metals? Well, of course the game is rigged, but if you don't play, you can't win. And we know the game is rigged, and I've shown you over the course of a year how to play the game. I've showed you websites like gata.org and all kinds of other things. But let's just kind of confirm what I'm saying is governments hate competition, banks hate competitions, and the media, actually corporate media really hates competition. That's why they diss social media so much. That's why they got people believing social media sucks. Now, I get it. Some social media has a lot of bullshit on it, and there's some real idiots out there. However, you know why the narrative today by corporate media and government is that social media sucks? Is because they don't want the individuals getting together, talking with each other, coming up with their own points, even if the points suck. And the media, the government, and the bankers want you to listen to one central opinion, one narrative, and that is their own. So that's why there's such a crackdown on social media, and that's why there's such a crackdown on YouTube and all these other channels, is because they control the show. Well, anyways, let's, boy, I could go on for a while. Like I said, good thing this is not a political show, but it all ties in to precious metals. And let's take a look at historic inflation rate by year. Now, the spin is that we're not going to be into any major inflation. Now, this is using the CPI, the government's own records of what they consider inflation thing. And we know the CPI is full of shit because I forget what they're even calling the CPI, 2%, 3%, whatever the hell it is right now. And we know for a fact fact, it's much, much higher than that. And they change what the CPI represents. So this is really a terrible thing to look at. If you were to look at this from 1990, let's look at all years. This is kind of interesting, but look at the overall trend over time. The overall trend over time is that inflation here has gotten so, and there we go, going back up. So, I mean, this just doesn't make any sense, folks. There's not even anything here I quit to eliminate inflation. Boy, this chart is very confusing, if you ask me, because look at all the different time points when inflation went at its highest. Interestingly enough, inflation was very high in 1980. Look at that. That's when the high of gold was at one time. Let me go back to a 30-year chart, make that a little bit smaller. What was our next bull market in gold? Let's take a look. 2008, there's the financial collapse. There's your inflation chart with the CPI, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's precious metals. Again, this CPI chart doesn't make any sense to me. And the reason that the CPI chart shouldn't make any sense is because they control it. They spin it and they make it look pretty nice. And it does look nice here on the chart. It doesn't look near as bad as it really is. That was my whole point in bringing up this official CPI chart and them using the inflation rate by year, is to show you how the government spends it. But we all know that what we bought 20 and 30 years ago is certainly not the same as what we have to pay for it now on so many different products and levels and services. And this chart indicates otherwise, which tells you it's full of shit. The CPI is. U.S. dollar index 43-year historical chart. Here's another spin that they keep telling us, whether it's corporate media, whether it's government, or whether it's the central bankers, the bankers. They keep telling us that the U.S. dollar index looks better every year. But look, the new highs are always lower than the old highs, and the new lows are lower than the old lows. So we're really on a historical. And remember, I've always said. I like to look at things. I step outside myself. I like to look at things in a macro view, overall. And that's what I'm kind of looking here. And again, the new lows are always lower than the last new lows. So really, where is the U.S. dollar going? Well, it's going in the shitter over time. All years. Well, they only have a 43-year chart right here. I would suspect that, you see my little pointer right there, that if there was a chart that was longer than 43 years, it would continue like this. You'd see a higher high and a higher low, and it would continue like this incrementally over time. But I think we're in this pattern, and we're ready to see another low here at some point. What day? When? I don't know. That's on a macro level, or stepping outside yourself and looking from that level, it's hard to see sometimes, but it ain't too far from the future here, it looks. Oh boy, long show today, sorry. Account practicing management, money supply, M2. Take a look at the M2 and the money supply charts here. And the reason I brought this up is because, on a day-to-day basis, the dollar may be strong. That's actually what kind of kicked gold and silver last week. It kicked it down quite a bit. Not to mention the governments or somebody that works for them sold a bunch of gold into the market just to lower the price. At the same time, they were jawboning the market down and talking about interest rates rising. And really, we're almost at 0% right now. The Fed's almost run out of ammo, but they have to raise interest rates so they have a little more ammo in the gun. So they will raise interest rates. And should this really impact gold? No, I don't think it should, but I believe that the Federal Reserve or central banks have basically, they're going to raise the interest rates a little bit. At the same time they're doing that, in the back end, they're going to manipulate markets like gold and silver. I mean, China was worried about commodity prices raising, and they're pretty opaque when it comes to it. They just say, F you, we're going to lower that market. We're going to go in and manipulate it ourselves with our government money and our government power. And that's exactly what the CCP did, is they went in and chopped down copper, iron prices last week. Just to keep inflation from going up. Our federal government does, and central banks do the same thing, but they don't tell us they're doing it. It's like a secret. Anyways, I digress. But take a look at this. Does this look like a sign, money supply, the increasing in money supply, does this look like a sign of good health right here? Take a look at this, especially this particular jump up right here. That doesn't look like good health to me. And in fact, it looks like at some point we're going to have some major issues. We're going to see another line going straight up here. Well, and that's assuming that the money supply factors are correct. And gold price, 100-year historical chart. Let's take a look at the historical chart of gold. This is why you should not be concerned about owning gold in the long term. The new highs are always higher than the last highs. The new lows are always higher than the last new lows, unlike the other chart we looked at with the dollar and the buying power of the dollar. And here we are currently right here. We talked about this yesterday, an inverse head and shoulders. You know what head and shoulder patterns. I'm getting fairly more familiar with charts. I'm not a big chartist. I believe charts show you where you've been, not necessarily where you're going. But sometimes if you know where you've been, it might help you to know, or it might help you figure out where you're going. But you know, it works until it doesn't. Charts are like that, and so does flipping a coin. Well, however, I think there's like an inverse head and shoulders, and we're in for some big up markets here pretty soon. Let me take a look at that on a closer level, 30 years, yeah, harder to look at on that level. Well, silver chart, same way. Take a look at this, and where is my all-year chart? That is the all-year chart, $20. Let me turn off the log scale here. There you go. That really exaggeration shows you the big moves we had. There's 1980. There's 2012 for silver, and there's our yet-to-be next jump in the silver market. However, it's hard to compare anything to 1980 because if you look at $1980, hey, let me see if I can inflation adjusted. $1980 bought a lot more stuff than it does right now. Kind of what we're talking about. Zero head, ZH, going to go through this. A couple more things we're going to go through here, folks. We'll get through this here. So, what the heck just happened to gold and silver? I like this article by Monetary Metals. Let's take a read on that in a moment. The biggest buyer of Earth on silver is supposedly, I was just reading this, and looks like Sprott is going to be given the honor of buying the most silver off the market than any company. A new shelf offering issued to purchase $3 billion worth of silver bullion. In addition, Sprott PSLV. Sounds like Sprott is buying a lot of silver. You know, I like Sprott. I like Eric Sprott. I think he's really smart. He knows the market. But I owned a Sprott PSLV, and I bought it years and years ago when silver was $12 and $14 an ounce. I just bought it because I figured, hey, it's a good way to buy silver. Apparently, I didn't understand what I was buying because it's worth half of what I paid for it. It really is. I can't understand it. I thought Sprott was 1 for 1 per ounce, but apparently I'm in some kind of fund, and again, I've lost money. So be real careful when you're buying that Sprott PSLV. I bought one, and again, I tried to call up and have them explain it to me why I lost money on the deal, or why it's worth half of what it was when silver is double what it was. And this is true. I'm not making this up. Again, when you're buying something, and I obviously did not understand what I was buying with Sprott. I was not buying an ounce of silver, that's for sure. And that's what I thought when they said they had allocated silver accounts, that I was buying an ounce of silver. Clearly I misunderstood that because, again, my account is worth half as much as it was when silver was in that $14 to $16 range. And it should be worth a lot more. So I obviously bought something I didn't understand. If you understand how the Sprott PSLV works, let me know. Make something in comments. Maybe one day I'll learn the mistake that I made by buying a Sprott. But again, that's not to diss the company. I just didn't know what I was buying, and obviously I wasn't buying an ounce of silver, despite the fact that I thought I was. Let's move into, actually I'm going to just shoot over some of the articles here. Not too much to talk about. Bitcoin tumbles below 30,000 for the first time since January. You know, I'm not really expert at, no, not an expert at all on Bitcoin. I just kind of know as much as most people do, maybe a tad more just because I read a little bit about it. But I don't, what level do you guys, please make a comment in the comment section, what level do you guys think that it would be the blood in the street level for Bitcoin? I mean, realistically, not, you know, not a guess, you know, for those of you that might know, what do you think the low could be on Bitcoin? And given Bitcoin versus Ethereum, I like the Ethereum technology better, but which technology do you like, or which coin do you like better, Bitcoin or Ethereum? I'd like to hear that as well, too, and you're actually helping me out a little bit. Curious of what the opinions are. Let's move along here. No less, looks like, cryptos are in for a big tumble here. Kind of odd that it all happened last week when the Fed spoke, right? Fed, media, and corporations. The three people that probably, or the three entities that probably hate Bitcoin just as much as gold and silver. One thing that gold and silver and Bitcoin have in common is that governments and banks hate competition. Okay, this is kind of funky right here. Not too much. I'm going to just scroll back up here, but I'm not going to do it too fast to make you all dizzy. You know, I always like to look over the ZH headlines, see if there's anything here that sometimes things don't look like they may have an effect on the price of metals. However, they do. You know, unrest in South Africa could close South African gold mines. That would have an effect on the price of gold. Viruses starting up in South Africa more. So you want to look for these little semi-black swan events that have an effect on price of gold and silver near term. That's if you're buying and selling, you know, on a near-term basis. And in the macro and the long-term basis, you have nothing to worry about. They're going to completely screw the economy and the currencies, so it's just an upward trajectory for precious metals, in my opinion. And in view, the biggest... Oh, hold on, I just looked at that one. What just happened to gold and silver? Cool article by Monetary Metals. Got to hand them this one. The price of metals were on a tear in April, May, then some sideways action. Then this week, thud. Absolutely, I like thud. I like that. I need to get a thud noise. Let's see. Hang on. Let's see if you can find a thud. Ready? That's a thud, right? Good. On Twitter, a popular meme is that banks smash a price by selling future contracts, though there was no selling of gold bars. Let's just say that if the price of an August contract fell by 120, the price of gold bar held steady. There would be a backwardization of around 40%. If this occurred, we would hardly be alone on the rooftops bellowing about this. For a picture of reality, let's look at the gold basis charts. And they put up the gold basis charts, gold co-basis, dollar bid price, and there's some kind of inconsistencies here and diversions from each other. For those that are new to supply and demand report, we were going to start here to get acquainted with our methodology and terms. So they're kind of explaining what how they're viewing the chart and their silver basis continuous chart. Boy, let me take a sip of coffee here. Sorry about that. A little dry. Okay. Anyway, they're discussing the charts here. I thought it was a good article. The bottom line, I just wanted to move down here. The recent price moves in gold and silver did not indicate any change of the underlying fundamentals. And really, this is the bottom line, and Monetary Metals nailed it on that. They talk about their chart here. Kind of cool. Again, if you like charts and you like these kind of things, I recommend that you read What the Heck Just Happened to Gold and Silver by Monetary Metals. It's on ZH, and you can read it for free. ZH doesn't charge anything for this. Well, let's get out of ZH, and not a lot of gold and silver news in ZH lately. It's kind of funny. They usually ran a lot of stuff for months and months. GATA.org should be on every gold and silver stacker's bookmarks bar. If it's not, then they're really not up to date what's really happening as far as precious metals goes. All the folks that always said for years and years and years. I had a friend that I debated with on social media, go figure, for a long time. A couple of friends. Oh, put your tinfoil hat on. Gold and silver markets aren't manipulated. And then Deutsche Bank came out and got really. We found out that they were heavily. They didn't say too much. People that dig their heels in when they're calling you a conspiracy theory, even though when you're providing them data and stuff that suggests that maybe they're wrong, they just dig their heels in. A lot of people are like that. Never trust governments, never trust banks. Completely. Yeah, you can trust them to some degree, as long as you're running them. But we're not running the show now anymore, folks. The corporations are. The elite are. So anyway, it looks like a former Deutsche Bank trader. Perfect. Did I say that right? Deutsche Bank. I was going to say it the other way. Deutsche Bank trader was ordered to serve 1 year a day prison for manipulating gold. Revel in this for all you folks that were called conspiracists. Was ordered to serve 1 year a day in prison for manipulating gold and silver price with bogus spoof trade orders between two. That is actually a light sentence. You know, his spoofing, and their spoofing cost people tens of thousands of hundreds and billions and millions of dollars over the course of years. These people should go to jail for major theft for many years, in my opinion. In fact, if I had anybody I knew that was in prison with this guy, I would ask him to make his life a little bit miserable. But that's just me. James Vorley, who was convicted, you, James Vorley, who was convicted of fraud in September, was sentenced by U.S. District Judge John J. Tharp Jr. in Chicago. But the interesting thing about this news right here is the bank threw this trader under the bus. Look at this. The trader is going to prison. Now, granted, he cost people money. He manipulated. He did illegal stuff, man. And it's being done daily, and a lot of people haven't gone to jail. But notice how the bank doesn't get in any trouble in this. None whatsoever. He was doing it for them. They made all the profits, mostly, not him. But guess who goes to jail? Guess who takes the blame, right? Think about this, folks. Well, let me move along here. They're like, they can't fail. They can't do anything illegal. Same thing with your government politicians, and almost with the corporate media as well, and the elite. You know, you can't let them fail. They're unfailable because the entire system supports them. They can't go to jail. They can't be punished. My gosh. All right. I'm going to move along. Sorry. Let's take a look at yesterday's video, and I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Let me sort by newest comments first. I love that you teach us about God. I hope you get back in the water. Me too. I think I'm going to go fishing this weekend here. Someone mentioned that I said LMBA. You keep mentioning it. Oh, what do you call that when you mix two letters or you mix numbers? Yeah, I guess I did. Sorry about that. Thanks for watching Wolf's Paw Print. Chris Dutcher, 50. Okay, we're talking boats and stuff now. That's pretty cool. Doing some comparisons. And I'm just seeing if there's anything here that... Wall Street silver guys are rising in quickly. They don't need a huge money to move the silver market. To bring awareness to many is the point. And exactly that was my point yesterday. Thanks for watching, Ananda. I appreciate that. That is true. What I love about the Wall Street Silver Forum guys is their enthusiasm, and that they're pointing out the bullshit involved with precious metals, the manipulation, and that's nice to hear. It's good to hear. Ananda, I hope you are reading the Goddess site too, and I hope you're sharing that on the WSS. There I go again, pronouncing it LMBA, WSS. I hope that you share it out there with those guys, the gata.org site. I really do. That's an important one for all you guys. And when I've been out there a few times, I really saw no mention of it. The Penniless Dreamer, I converted electro contracts into 34 grams or 70% silver. That's awesome, dude. That is awesome. I like that. That's taking some idle time at home and converting it into money, real money. Thanks for all the people that say you like my show, and I think I'm going to move along here. A lot of the same faces in here, and again, I'd like to thank all of you folks for watching. Don't quite know how to pronounce that name, but I won't even try. Want to make a correction. There are no blue and red sides. It's blue and green, according to Aristotle, quoting blue and green parties in the circus. Thanks for the content. I'm going to read that. Blue and green parties in the circus by Aristotle. I'll learn something new today. Thank you very much, sir. And again, I want to thank everybody here for watching, and especially the regulars here that watch and comment. You guys are great. I appreciate everything. So many comments now, it's getting harder and harder to kind of answer. If I answered and just said thank you to each one of you here, we'd be here for another half hour. That's what the guy that tells me that edits my videos. So he says, you got to cut those down. I said, I don't want to. Well, what are the best deals of the day out there? You know I do this on a daily basis. I used to point out the particular products, but I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to just give you a range. You're smart enough to figure out what a good product is. And before I get into that, as I always say, I am a local brick and mortar store here in South Florida. I've been here since 1977. In second generation dealer. I've been in this store since 1995 in Lauderdale by the Sea, and I love this little town. I only sell locally. I don't do any online sales. I don't ship or anything like that. So if you want to buy from me, you have to physically come in and visit me during my store hours 10 to 4. Again, we don't do any phone sales or anything like that, or mail order shipping. Why am I saying that? Is because a lot of folks would come in my store. The young guys would come in. The WSS guys would come in. And this goes back. I've been doing this for a long time. And they would say, hey, Brian, what you got? How much is your silver for this product, that product? I'll give them a price. And then I'd see them on their phones. What the heck are they looking at? And wonder. Maybe they're checking spot prices. No, they were checking the online sellers. So at that point, I realized many years ago I had to compete against the online sellers. So I can't compete against every one of them, but I will beat the prices of the big ones: SD Bullion, JM Bullion, and APMEX. And they're great companies. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. But as I say, I prefer my customers to buy local because I can give them just as good a price, a better service in my opinion, and I can give them experience and my professional opinion on things. And they get that all for the same, and they get that, and I can still beat the prices of the online sellers. Again, nothing wrong with the online sellers. The other thing I like is the fact that you keep the money local. You spend money with me here in town, same thing with your local dealer, wherever you live. You spend money with me here in town. I spend it in my area. I have local employees. They spend it in town, the local ice cream shop, the tire shop, wherever. The money stays in my state and my town. When you're buying online, chances are you're shipping your money out of your state. You will never see it again. That's why I'm a big fan of buying local. Best products out there, folks. We're almost done. Best products out there right now are any silver products that you pay less than $6 an ounce premium. I'd prefer to see you paying $4 to $5 per ounce premium. 1 ounce and 10 ounce generic bars are really tough right now. The largest seller out there, according to one of the largest bullion dealers in the Southeast, wholesalers, recently told me that Silvertown is owned by A-Mark, and A-Mark owns SD or JM Bullion or one of those, and that they're taking all the new product and they're running it through their retail arm. I can't blame them, but it has taken a big chunk out of what's available. I think that we have Hamilton mint stuff coming into us, Valcombis and other products, but the domestically made products from Silvertown are being primarily sold by one company. They have I guess they have first dibs on it. So again, no more than $6 an ounce on silver. Try to stay in that $4 to $5 range. As far as gold goes, don't pay more than $100 an ounce unless you have to, and it's the only thing you can cash and carry that day. Or try to buy gold in the $60 to $85 range. Bars are available in that price range. Again, it may get, with the lower gold price, we may start seeing higher premiums again. Stuff might be tightening up a little bit more again, folks. So get your buys in early when you see these lows. But that's really about it. I still like bars, gold, silver, and platinum bars over coins. The premium is a little bit cheaper. Just buy a good recognizable product. Well, that's it. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Call me anytime at 954-493-8811 between the hours of 10 and 4, Mondays through Fridays. Happy to help you out with whatever you need. Hey, thanks for watching. Let's see if the coin was right. See if we got a bull market today. And hey, again, let me know what you think of the new coin. Should I keep the old coin or use the new coin? Yeah, the new coin has a little lighter sound to it. Hey, it's all fun. Thanks. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.